Howdy folks, welcome in, welcome back to the shed on this bright but again chilly morning, I'm afraid. What's up everyone? There's SJ. Hello SJ, how are you doing? There's Brian. Hi Brian. Great show yesterday, thanks mate. Trainman 1, welcome in. Jean Ricard, always a pleasure. I saw Tammy and Ray earlier on. A big welcome to them from the other side of the pond. Oh, good. Oh, the shit is full. Oh, never a good thing. How am I doing? Yeah, I'm okay. Still feeling the effects of the cold, but can't really grumble too much. There's Tammy and Ray. Hello there. Tim Maslin. Did you get your problem with the lock programmer sorted out, Tim? If you'd just like to pop that in the comments. There's Dwight Curley and Ray Bertelson. Good morning to you both. Yeah, as I said, yeah, great show yesterday, Brian. I know you just say it's waffle, but it's all necessary waffle. It is grist to the mill, as they say. Andy Dobson. Hi, Andy. How are you, man? As I say, welcome in. Yes, it's been a packed week today. The rails of Sheffield Hilljan Class 18100 gas turbine arrived this week, and that was pretty spectacular. Like everybody else, I watched Richard's review of that, and yeah, it all looked good. The sound was great. The model itself, well put together, great detail, great paint on it. A really, really smashing model. And there's Connie. Hello, Connie. Nice to see you. It must be pretty early morning in the Americas. So it's a big thumbs up. Welcome in. And for those of you that don't know, Connie does a modelling chat at 5 o'clock on a Sunday. All are welcome. If fine scale modelling is your thing, painting, yeah, take a look. There's pretty good stuff. Right, IGJ Trains, good afternoon to you. Nice to see you. DCC and Brian. That seems to be a bit of an oxymoron there. They two words that in the same sentence that don't go together. They are fantastic. Don't know what I am talking about. Oh, well, okay. That's obviously a little conversation that's going on in there. What's up? Yeah, we're all here. Moneybrook Junction. Hello there. Nice to see you. DCC does not compute. Yes, it does. There is room in this hobby for all of it. For DC, for DCC. At the flick of a switch, I can go DCC. Doesn't mean I have to do it all the time, but it does have its place. I think Heath at Humanity Junction said it probably the best, where he said, with DC, you drive the track. With DCC, you drive the locos. And I can't find a fault in that statement. So he does know what he's talking about, old Heath. He always hams himself up a bit, you know, it doesn't take yourself too seriously. And that's one of the reasons I like Heath. He's great. Yeah, a raconteur of the railways is Heath. And there's Osmerica Model Railroading. That'll be Artie. He is back in Australia from his brief sojourn. Wasn't very brief actually. It was a month or two in America. And it's early in the morning in the US. How cute. It's earlier here. Yeah, I'll bet it's very early. Anyway, welcome, Artie. Nice to see you back in one piece. And a very much deserved vacation for you after all the many vicissitudes you've had to face with your shoulder and all of the pantomime that you've had to suffer. You could do with a holiday. Good for the mental state. It's a shame it didn't shape up a little better with monetary strife and, oh, you can't have this and you can't have that. Artie had his fair share of outrageous fortune in America. So there you go. Trackside Mike, our Canadian brethren. Hello, Trackside Mike. How are you doing this fine day? It must be pretty early there in Canada as well. Yes, Trackside Mikey is home. From what I understand, whoever was looking after Artie's house left the tap running and the plug in. So the kitchen was pretty much flooded. And there's James. Hello, James. Nice to see you. 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock in the morning isn't. I'm loath to say it's an ungodly hour because James is watching, but it's pretty early in the morning. Anyway, thank you very much for making your presence felt, and particularly this early in the morning. Tim Maslin, you've sold all the trucks I donated, Brian. Good to see. Excellent. For those that don't know, Brian, which is Finiton in the chat, opened his own little online shop. It's all pretty much 00 gauge UK stock, but done at very reasonable prices. So it's always worth a look. Brian, as you've got moderator rights, if you'd like to pop your little shop title in the chat, feel free to do so. Looking forward to seeing it built, says Dino. Now what's Simon working on? Well, we shall see it. And announcement today of 10% blue light discount too. Blue light discount. Okay. There it is. Train shop at wixsite.com. Yes. It's worth a look, and as I say, reasonable prices. It's a second-hand market. Some say which is out of control on things like eBay and things like that, but the prices are there. It depends whether you want to pay it or not. That sucks, Artie. Come home and the rabbit has a pool in the house. Yeah, there was quite a bit of damage. I think most things in kitchens these days are made out of chipboard with a facing on. And as soon as they get wet, everything starts to swell. So then doors won't close. Here is one of the bastions of YouTube, whether he likes it or not. Eagle Creek Railroad, that's Ben. Good afternoon, Ben. Nice to see you. I think congratulations are on the cards because I think you've reached 2,000 subscribers, and that is not to be sniffed at for small channels like us. Chobberton Junction, there's Tony. Nice to see you, Tony. Yes, we have a blue light discount of 10% to all NHS staff, police. Right, okay, that's admirable. Anyways, great to see you in, Ben. I know you've been struggling with your ankle and life in general, and particularly YouTube in particular, which can be a bit of a strange place, as we all know. I did notice, I think it was Al at Leighton Junction. He just said, I've had enough of this. And I can see his point of view. Doesn't mean we all have to agree, but Al is part of the community, and if he feels that it's a bit too spiky out there, he's just going to step back, and I respect that. Everyone needs time and space, so yeah, but we do what we can. I enjoy a little hour of fun on a Sunday, speaking to worldwide friends, which is something I never thought I'd do. Anyway, what's running today? Okay, I stopped other yonder Santa Fe train. This one is, I'm going to have to get closer to this because I can't see. Oh, it's Southern. It's a Southern US 460 Baldwin. Let me get out of the way. There it is. Chugging along quite well. Putting a load of, there's a flat car and some Aston Topeka and Santa Fe coaching stock from the 1880s, which I very much have a penchant for. And there's Les. Hello, Les. Nice to see you. We're US and core. And again, that must be very early for you, Les. Anyway, welcome in. It's nice to see you. A very similar one, Simon. It's a Dutch-built one. Ah, okay, Dino. Right. Is that what the engine looks like unweathered? Right, okay. What's my policy on weathering? Richard's tried a bit of weathering on some trucks just to see if it would work, using powders and then a spray on it to keep it there. And it worked very well. If I want an engine that's dirty, I'll buy it already dirty. If I don't think that weathering is up to scratch, then I will send it to a company in Essex who will then do a number on it, and they are professional weatherers. Actually, I'll prepare a little better next week, and I'll put their website in there because they are very, very good and reasonable in price. Leicester Station, Gary, good afternoon to you. Nice to see you. So I tend to buy already weathered locos because whether I've seen one or not, and it looks that way. Do you know any professional figure painters? I don't think I do, Tim. There's a big community of model builders who paint as good as any professional out there. Connie probably would know more of that than I would, so it might be worth popping into Connie's chat later on this afternoon and asking amongst the community there, because that's much more a modelling type of thing. Scale trains starting to come out with weathered wheels now. Again, a lot of it is down to taste. I think, how do I put it this way? There was, do you remember when Hornby came out with the crusty boilered 9F? They did a weathered one, and the weathering on it was pretty much rusty colour. Quite well done if that's your kind of thing, but it wasn't good enough. I wanted it dirtier, so I sent it to the professionals and they properly weathered it, and that's the one you see from time to time on here. That's a 9F, and they were notable to be dirty, so I wanted a real dirty one, and it's got all of the hot water marks on it where it's gone a frosty white, all that kind of thing. Readjusting to a sense of normality again, back at work, trying to get back on the layout again. Excellent, Ben. I noticed you've changed your logo a little. Done a few refinements on that. It looks good, actually. So well done for that. But as for weathering, not something I'm really into. I enjoy looking at pristine models as though they've just come out of the factory. So that's my take on it, unless I want something really dirty. We've all seen the real thing dirty out there, and it depends just how it grabs you. It doesn't grab me that much. I'm not one for what's the stuff the Vandals do? Help me. Graffiti. I'm not really one for graffiti. I know it's out there, but it looks ugly and nasty. And there's only a couple of um, bits of rolling stock we've got graffiti on, and we bought it like that from new. There is always TNT. They do professional graffiti painting to your order. So if that's your kind of thing, TMC might well be your first port of call, unless you want to do it yourself. But with things being expensive, I don't really want to spend all that money to get a pristine locomotive, and then you're going to run it through a dirt mill. It depends how I feel about it, but it's not something I've attempted to do. If I'm going to build a model up from scratch and livery it, go to all the trouble of putting a livery on it, transfers, things like that. I want it to look as good as it possibly can. Hey ho. Hoping everything works out for Artie and the rabbit. I'm sure it will. I think Artie just needs a bit of time to graffiti. Thanks, Artie. I couldn't. It's Sunday morning, it's difficult to compute. Anyway, so let's get the other locomotive running, which is the trusty Santa Fe. Putting some New York Central coaches, but hey ho. So we'll get those going. I like weathering lightly or heavy. Yeah, it depends what it calls for, trackside Mike. Or tuna salad Mike, I could also call you. It depends how it grabs me. There are certain locomotive shapes that look like particularly the more industrial type locos, shed shunters, things like that, where they're used every day, not kept particularly clean because they're not on public show, and they do tend to get a bit grubby and dirty, and you will see them like that if you really go looking for them. John Ruffle, landlord was thinking about giving me a new kitchen anyways, so he isn't too fussed about it, thank God. That's the result. Yeah, it's a strange way of getting a new kitchen, but hey ho, it's a guard rabbit. Yeah. Yeah, big rabbit, almost the size of a kangaroo. Probably a wallaby, but yeah, I know where you're coming from, trackside Mike. Anyway, I don't know if you know, there's a website called Charlie's Train Junction, something like that. He's in the States. He reminds me of someone. I can't. It's sort of Timmy Mallet type. If you can imagine Timmy Mallet with the big glasses. If anybody out there knows who I'm talking about, stick it in the chat. Anyway, he had one of these, which is a Rogers 460. And now he thought that it was 4, 2, 2. It isn't. That connecting rod there means these are all driving wheels. It's a 4, 6, 0. It's just that there's no room because one of the driving wheels under the cab, there's no room for a training wheel. So anyway, this is it. Now I nabbed parts off of this for my Casey Jones because this is the locomotive that was used in Casey Jones. It's Sierra number 3, which I'm very, very fond of. But this was made in 00 scale because it's got a great big chunky motor in it. They just couldn't, Tyco and Mantua just couldn't get it any smaller. Anyway, he's got one of these, and I think it's got a very thin tyre on there, traction tyre. And I think his one has perished in the box over the years. And he said, I don't know whether to try and get that off. Whether I can pull the wheels off the axle, that's not something you want to do because it puts all your quartering out and you would have to match that up to the other wheels. No, the easiest way is just to get a 2.5mm socket, which is one of the Hornby ones. That's a double-ended nut spinner, and the one on that end is a 2.5mm socket. And just to make sure, I got the calipers out, I put it on the nut, and it measured 2.4mm on that nut, which is about 1/10 of an inch. But I tried the 2.5 on it, it fits well. It unscrewed the nut, screwed it back up again, no problem. And he was fretting over that. So I did put a little tippy-tappy message in his last live or video to tell him that it's a 2.5mm. This one from Hornby, but there are commercially available socket drivers. So that's that. Next week I'll pick up his channel properly and pop it in there for you to check out. And he does a lot of, Charlie in the States does a lot of Tyco stuff. That's his main thing. And once Mantua had finished with it, Tyco inherited this monster. The other version I made of that, Charlie's Train Depot. Thank you, Ben. Man of the world, Ben. Well done, mate. Thanks for that. Who is a nut? Well, I'm a nut, Dwight. A real fruitcake. What else can I call myself? Surrounded by all this paraphernalia, scenic backboards, trains, track, boards, model light signals, engines, what do you call that? Scalpel with a very funky blade on it. Great for cutting carpet, but anyway, been subtuned for ages, yeah. But he was obviously struggling with getting the nuts undone on the con rods, Ben. So I suggested it's 2.5mm nut driver. That I do. Have I got a spanner here? Just a minute. Somewhere here. Yes, I have. You can always get a spanner like this, which is a mini spanner. That will go down to 2.5mm. Anything from 0 up to 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 0 to 1/2 inch. And you can actually use that because the jaws are actually square. You can get that down to 2.5mm and just pinch your nut drivers open, then do it by fingertips. So there's a number of ways of getting around it. An adjustable wrench. Thank you, Trackside Mike. Sidetrack 77. That's Holly. Hello, Holly. Good morning to you. Nice to see you. Everybody, welcome Sidetrack 77. Another great channel. Very knowledgeable. Fun guy. Really fun guy. So, but he does some lives where he's working on trains. There's some really funky hours of the morning. It's like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock here, and I'm thinking, oh, do I jump into this when my eyes are starting to complain? But that's what the Canadians call it. Yeah, an adjustable wrench. Yeah, spanner. Yeah, we have spanners in the chat. There's Ben and there's Brian. You've got to have a great spanner or adjustable wrench. Also known as a monkey wrench. Am I correct there? A monkey wrench. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So by all means check out Sidetrack 77. Does quite a few DCC conversions, things of that nature. Yeah. Always Always a bit of fun going on there. Big spanner there. Yeah, I know, Brian. But a very nice spanner. And yes, I have met Brian. Ben, I haven't met yet, but I hope to somewhere along the line. Maybe gets this year if you can get across to that, Ben. Um, it will be um, the second attempt from Anthony Dodge, who hopefully is watching now. But if you're still trying to keep your eyes open, Anthony, good morning to you and to Joyce. Monkey wrench is a Stilson in our money. Oh, okay, a Stilson wrench. Okay, where the wrench part is there and there's an adjuster on it. Yeah, and then it uses the lever action to actually tighten it. Stilson's monkey wrench. Okay. There's Digger Evans. Hello, Digger. Nice to see you. Pipe wrench, yeah, also known as. There's so many different names for so many different tools, and it varies from which side of the pond you're on as well. But spanner, wrench, screwdrivers are universal. There's the Birmingham screwdriver, which is a hammer. Sorry, Brian, I know you're from up Brumway. Although Brian now lives up in Shropshire. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Right. I'm going to move the... oh, yeah. I was telling you a little bit about this. Now, Sidetrack 77 will recognise this. Mantua Tyco Rogers 460, the Sierra number 3. This is the second one I got because I wanted a source of spares. First of all, the engine I got in the first one, the actual motor in it, is a 3-pole and it was pants. David Hall, nice to see you. A shifter in Australian terms. How about that? A shifter. Yeah. Anyway, this was the second Rogers 460 I got. The other one I converted into a classic Casey Jones Cannonball Express locomotive, which was Cannonball number 1. We all know it. And I stripped it apart, stripped it right down. I used spare wheels off of this one so I could do away with the traction tyres. I put in DCC sound, smoke and lights in it. And I'm really proud of it. So much so I can't find the bugger today. I wanted to put it on and get it working. I can't find it. I know I put it in quite a fancy box to keep it protected, but I just can't find the bugger. No, never mind. Anyway, I have got it. Now I know somewhere out there is a more scale version of the Rogers 460. It's made by Arbor Kits, and I've actually asked Anthony to keep his eyeballs open because I know he's going to a show in Toledo, and they may well have one. They float around on the second-hand market because Arbor Kits no longer exist. I think they were New York or New Jersey, and they made white metal kits, HO scale, and they're the only ones that have done a Rogers 460 like this, but in the correct scale of HO. Their kit has it tender drive. I will convert that to loco drive with a suitable motor if I can, and then I'll take it from there and I'll get as close to Casey Jones's locomotive as it appeared in Casey Jones in 1957-58. I'll try it. I know it's a difficult kit to put together because they weren't too picky in their castings. Some of the castings leave a lot to be desired, and not so much flash, but bent castings, incomplete castings. But I'm willing to give it a shot. So if anybody in America can find a Sierra 460 kit made by Arbor Model Kits, I'd be most appreciative. I've got Sean, looking out in California. Um, I've got Anthony. I've asked Anthony to have a look. I've asked Lynn McCurdy to have a look because he's. I think Lynn's a kit builder and he knows the one I'm talking about. But if there's anything out there and anybody spots it, I don't mind paying the money. It's just getting one. The big one I have is a sledgehammer. Yeah, we used one of them yesterday. That's another story. A Glaswegian Kiss is a hammer. Yeah, nice. Anyway, right, I'm going to move the camera so you can see a bit more of the action. Here we go. I'll set it back a little further. There goes the Baldwin. Hey! Now that's a pretty close approximation of an American 460, particularly with the white wall wheels. Oh, that looks absolutely splendid. And there goes the Santa Fe F7 A and B units. Does it matter if it's built or not? Considering what I want to do with it, it would be better unbuilt as a kit. Now I know they vacuum packed the kit parts onto cardboard, so it would be better if it's a kit, Holly, because a lot of the white metal parts are soldered together, and it would be very difficult to unsolder them. The main reason for that is that I want to put DCC sound and perhaps a smoke unit in it and that kind of thing, so it looks as good as it can. Track type mic. What track do I use? This is Pico Code 100. The reason I use Pico Code 100 mic is because obviously I'm in the UK. It's a UK company, and it's easy to get for us. Doesn't mean it's not expensive, but there's lots of fine scale track out there, code 83, code 75, all that kind of jazz. But considering I'm running like old Athens here, and the flanges might not be up to modern standards, I don't really want the flanges hitting the sleepers. So ideally, I went for code 100. There's madness in my method. I've never tried Walters. Pico all the way for me. Yeah, to a degree, it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't. A lot of us get a track system we like and then stick to it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with experimenting with different track. But there's always a compatibility issue, which I believe James has found out. Thank you, Dino. That's very kind of you. Yeah, Gary, you've got to like American trains. Just look at those. Wonderful, heavyweight, 12-wheeler coaches. The colours, the shapes. Yeah, I'm very much an Anglophile. I do like American style trains. They're different in a good way. Yeah, you could put up a Wild West scene temporarily. There's a few Native American states coated too. Mav, I have thought of that, and I do have some code 83 Pico track for just such a diorama. Yeah, Tim, that is a valid point. No way to do a matte replacement. Can't beat a Santa Fe Warband. Yeah, I'm with you there, Ben. The red and the yellow and the silver, there's just something that's so right about it. And then give me a shot of whiskey and a hamburger, and I'm anybody's. Mike's got a P42 yesterday in Via colours. That's Canadian for you. Go via or go home? Or how do you say it? Via. Go via. I Matt, do you paint? I could, but can't be bothered to paint it. I won't notice when I've ballasted it all next month. Yeah, all of this is a wooden sleeper track. Because they didn't do concrete coloured points, I tended to go for all of one colour, which would be the wood variety. It's heavy and it pulls great. Well, you can't ask for much more than that. Right, what I'll do, I'll bring in the little tiddler. Right, put it down the center. And then I'll bring out the big guns. Hey, there's Anthony Dodge. Hello, Anthony. Right, there we go. I'll just isolate that. And I'll just move the camera a little bit. Excuse me. If I drag you back a little bit, like that, then I should be able to pull this one out. Oh, the hand of God. There we go. Now, if I select the reverse, let's turn that down a little. Which way do I want to go? I want to go forwards. Track number 2, and we're away. There we go. And there's Lee. Hello, Lee. Nice to see you. Here's the E6. And I did take this one apart and gave it a thorough clean. And then I put the circuit board in the wrong way, which shorted the 8 pins on the chassis. What a silly boy. Right, let's have a little more speed. All right, here we go. Here comes the E6. I'll just move you a little in bulk. There's the E6. Put it all back together. And it's working all right. HO scale brass model train from Red Illinois Central Further class. It just runs in automatic coal and tender. It might say Casey Jones, but unless it's Sierra number 3, it won't be. Ever considered brass? Yeah, I've looked at it, but they don't do a brass Sierra number 3, unfortunately. They might say Casey Jones on them, but then that could be the one that he actually died in, which is not the one in the TV show. Let's see if I can get a better angle there. There we go. And you should actually be able to see the light on it as it comes around. It's not very prominent, but it is there. Off the rails, Western Australia. Hello to you. Nice to see you. Just chucked his work vest on for a moment to say hi. Well, I'm glad you did. And as you can probably hear, there's got a feeling it might be that Union Pacific coach, a little squeaky. Keep it on the tracks. Right, let's drag this one out. Right, let's add some power. There we go. There we go. Right, here comes the Erie build. Running Bang Road. I've just stopped in for a minute there. You're trying to get in trouble. I've got a little sticky micro switch here. Here we go. Right, I'm going to set the lights to red because I'm going to be going Bang Road, which means reverse. Okay, trackside Mike, nice to see you, man. Here comes the Erie build, A and B. There you go. Give it a bit of whirly. Wrong one. Now with these two coming around, both of these A and B units are powered, but they're quite well matched. And we have Mr. Timbersurf in the chat. Hiya Timber, nice to see you, man. And did I see Tony pop in there? And Stuart the Fish Whisperer. Hello there, nice to see you. And Wolfit Scenics, PW, that's Paul Wood. Hello Paul, nice to see you. He's in hot pursuit. We're now a bit of photo bombing going. Oh yes, Stuart, they do. Rule 1 applies. Hiya, Tony. Well, Stuart, anything goes. A little bit of Santa Fe. There's an Erie built, A and B. And here comes the Santa Fe E6, A and B. The Tuna Can Express is definitely in the chat. The dear man himself, Dwight, is here. Well, he certainly was here, but you've got to remember it's definitely pretty early morning in the States. The Tuna Can Express. Dwight's here. The mainline owners must be out for a presidential trip. Oh, yes. Roll out the red carpet. Here comes the press. Probably find men in black appearing all over the place now. Dwight's woken up and smelt the coffee. That's what it is. Right, for those of you that haven't seen the rest of the shed, I'll give you a quick tour. Right, there's obviously bits and pieces hanging up there, wheel sets, oil, that kind of thing. There's a Pico cradle for putting on and taking off. There's a classic. That's off of a Signal. There is another one up yonder in the corner, but you can't spot it. Oh, you can just see it. What have we got? We've got definitely some Union Pacific there. There's a driver's rosters with signal keys and things like that. This is the way I tend to do my functions for DCC. So that kind of thing. Stop, sound horn before entering. Southern Pacific Lines, the Flying Scotsman. That's a radio clock up there, so that'll give you it's now 8 minutes to 2, bang on. Cornish Riviera Express, New York Central. And there's some good old signs. That's off of a Class 37. That's off of a Class 55. And there's various bits and pieces up there from the railway network. Engineering Supervisor, that's an armband. And that kind of jazz. You've got the station over yonder. Then you've got 2 tracks. Here is the little yard with a motive power depot. Here are the switches I use for switching out the points and turnouts and that kind of jazz. There's various ones of those around there. Those are for isolation, the ones you see in blue. Turntable, there's more. A couple of trees over yonder. Let's pop the camera back on the PC so you can look at my ugly mug. Ah, there we go. Right, let's catch up on the chat. Please hit the like button. Thank you very much, Dino. We have 29 in. We have 28 likes, which is great. Absolutely thrilled with those kind of numbers. Just sort that out there. After come down south and get some Aussie trinkets. Yeah, I'd love some Aussie trinkets. I'd love one of those American lamps that they have with the red. It's like got like a red orb on it. I obviously put it on the back of the American trains. I can't remember who they're made by now. The name will come to me, but it's like an old paraffin type lamp. I'd love to get one of those, but I'd have to go over to the States and source it, I suppose, because it'd be very difficult to send something like that and expensive in the post. I just can't remember the name of the paraffin lamp that it was. It'll come to me. Yeah, Marco lights. Yeah, I'd love to get one of those, but I do actually have a Tilly lamp somewhere, and there's also one of these, which is your standard, dusty British Rail lamp, and it does actually say BR on the side of it, so there's a rarity. But they take specialist kind of batteries in those, and what you do is there's a knob on top, and you can turn it, and it will go red or Clear. There's the red one. There's also a yellow one in here, and I can't see it. I think this needs some attention. But yeah, there's an old British Rail lamp. Can't actually remember what they're called, actually. Somebody. Whereabouts am I? I'm in the middle of Hertfordshire. I'm in Jerkwater in Hertfordshire in England. Not in the middle of the States like I'd love to be, but never mind. Yeah, those lamps have a certain name which escapes me at the moment. I mean, I'll remember it. Certainly, my son will, as he works on the railways, he'll tell me. Uh, Stuart the Fish Restaurant is in Scotland. Okay. Yeah, it'd be great to be in America though. Eating American food, drinking American booze, and living the dream. Do you have a heater in the shed? Yeah. I can show it to you. It looks like this. There. There it is. Yeah. Oh, I'm in a bit of trouble there. All right. Yeah, it's a paraffin heater. It's called an Aladdin paraffin heater, and I do believe they have them in the States as well. Yeah, they were very popular back in the 50s. I managed to pick this one up fairly cheap. Put a new wick in it, did a little bit of servicing on it, and nice blue flame. It's as good as gold, and it keeps me warm in here. It doesn't draw a lot of current. If I was to put an electric heater in here, it would be pulling what, 2,000 watts, 2 kilowatts, and there'd be precious little left for anything else like lighting and all the rest of it. So I tend to have the heating independent. On a really nice hot summer's day, which is pretty rare in this country, I open the door and a Bardic, yes, thank you, Ben. You see, this is what I've missed about Ben, is incredible knowledge, a font of all knowledge. So yeah, have missed you, Ben. Yes, welcome back. It's great to have you here. There, I've said it. Yeah, it's great to have Ben in because Ben also knows about American railroads as well. Eagle Creek Railroad. If you're not already subscribed, do hit the subscribe button. I know you've got up to 2,000 subscribers now, damn it. But yeah, very well deserved. There's me and Digger meet up Sunday high teas. More like high noon, but you know, yeah, with the Stetson and fast on the draw. I believe Digger lives way up somewhere like Yorkshire or Durham or somewhere like that. So he's probably closer to Scotland than me. So Digger will tell you. You subscribe to Ben's channel. Good man. Yeah, Ben knows an incredible amount. Particularly, Ben's an electrician by trade, so it's great to have an electrician to run things past, particularly if you're going to be doing anything exotic. The first thing Ben would probably say is, don't do that. And that's really what you need. You need a steadying hand when it comes to electricity. Digger, I was being thoughtful. Yeah, it's a great thought. High tea with Digger. Well, you never know. It could be on the cards. It could be arranged. Yeah, and well done hitting 2010. That's great. I know YouTube isn't perfect by any means, but it's what we make it. I mean, I try not to be too spiky when it comes to reviews and things like that. If Hornby come up with a decent locomotive, um, I've been looking at their 2MT, which is a pretty good small model, and that may well be on the cards. Although I have a Bachmann 2MT, the Hornby one looks good for different reasons. Not sure their motors are still up to it, but it looks to be a good model, and it looks to run very well. And for what they've put into it, it looks like you might actually get your money's worth. So when Hornby come out with something good, I'll be the first one to jump on my cabbage crate and shout it from the rooftops. But when they start pulling funny stunts, like stealing everybody else's thunder and things like this, I'll slate them. You know, um, if they're going to paint a cross on themselves to be shot at, well, people will shoot at them. But I try and keep it fairly lightweight. For the amount of good Hornby locos I've got, they're great. But they do come up with some questionable things sometimes, which can sidetrack them from their main goal, which is double O. Let's face it. The lamp you showed earlier is a Bardic lamp. Yes. Thanks, Mark, and welcome in. Nice to see you. Are you doing any more updates, Mark? The Bardic lamp. Yeah. That one obviously is a bit stiff. I think it's been sitting in the shed too long. So it's going to need a bit of an overhaul. And I wonder if I should do a video on that. I'll take a look at it first to see what I'm getting into. If it can be put together, it can be taken apart. And Anthony has just spent a small fortune on a new train. But you've got to wait 4 or 5 weeks for it. Ooh, the anticipation. It's like Christmas every day for 5 weeks. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. As I said, Rouse and Helljan have brought out their gas turbine come first 25 kV electric, and it's a dinger. It really is a super model. And we've run it on the track, our track, this track, which I hadn't cleaned it until since the last week, and it ran perfectly on DCC with sound. Richard did his review on it. Have a look at the he's called the Spanish Inquisition. So yeah, have a look for that. He done a good review on it, and it's a super model. And when Richard's a bit more fair weather running than I am, I'm pretty hardy. I'll get up here and run trains as often as I can. But obviously, Richard's working on the real railway, and trying to get a bit more of a current project finished, and then get a video up as soon as I can. Yeah, brilliant, Mark. Always love seeing your stuff, because it's got your stamp on it, and that's what I like, when people put their own stamp on traditional ways of doing things, but it's all different, and everybody's got their own way of doing it. They've all got their own proportions, and I like what you do, Mark, so carry on doing it, mate. Ben says, I'm trying to put the pieces together for the specialist train for the layout too. Proving hard to get some of the cars over here, though. That's always a problem, Ben. You know, like I've said many times, we're in Jerkwater, England. And thanks, Ben. It's difficult to get bits. I mean, I'd love to get that Arbor kit of the Sierra number 3. But my chances of getting that over here, well, I just don't think it's... How many of those made it across the pond? maybe one or two specialist orders. Um, and then why on earth wouldn't they build them when they've gone to all the trouble of actually sourcing the kit? But if one does show up, yes, I'll buy it and I'll put it together in my way with the things I want on it. And if other people like it as well, that's great. But um, we are a bit me, and it's the different slants on traditional railway modelling that we've all got, and that's what I like. I like it when Mark does static grass, which he's very good at, and it's a pleasure to watch because yeah, it looks so easy. You put this in here, and you turn that on. You hold the clip here, and you give it a shake, and hey presto! It's not that easy. Uh, not that I've ever tried it, but I'd have a go. But I haven't got mountain sides that I have to need to cover in grass. For me, there's more ballast, so it'll be little tufts of grass here and there. I'd expect. No one expects a Spanish Inquisition. Exactly so. Yeah. Obviously, there's a Monty Python slant there. Nobody expects a Spanish Inquisition. Yeah, very zany. Anyway, my time is just about up, ladies and gentlemen, and people and folks. So I'm going to go and grab a cup of coffee. Um, thanks everybody for coming in, to my moderators, Brian and Ben and Anthony. And it's great seeing everybody. Run a few trains, chew the fat. If there's any new models and bits and pieces coming up, I shall tell you. Ali Pali is a couple of weeks away, so I'll be going along to that, and who knows what I might get. There's a couple of things, maybe the new Hornby 4 Vet, which I'm very interested in. As I said before, the Hornby 2MT, and if I could get a good one, maybe the Booster, the Southern Railways Booster. But it's never really been on my radar, so I'm still not sure about that one. A couple of Southern EMUs. I got a couple of Southern EMUs from you. The rest of them, the 4 CEPs, I've done them to death, I think, because I've got quite a few of those. Yeah, the Booster's a lovely model, but it's not without its faults. It's got a very wavy circuit board in it, and the way they've done the bogies is questionable. Lots of people have been having trouble with it, derailing. Yeah, it's problematic. But thanks everybody for coming in. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'll see you next Sunday for another smorgasbord. I'll be doing a change round of some of the rolling stock. And if I can find Sierra number 3 to run with smoke on, I will. Until that time, thanks everybody for coming. Auf Wiedersehen, tschüss, and happy trains. And take it easy out there, everybody. Don't want to hear of any accidents or unnecessary. Everybody stay safe. Enjoy your model trains. That's what they're there for. It's a great community we've got. So enjoy it. I'll see you in the streams, and take care, everybody. See you soon. Adios.